Welcome to Passion for the Pastime, where baseball lives 24/7, 365. Catch conversations with beat writers, broadcasters, current and former players of all levels. Now here's your host,
Walter Balsetta. Whoops, I fumbled. I got to get out of here.
Walter Balsetta.
Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode, another edition of Passion for the Pastime. I am Walter Balsetta, here to talk some baseball for the next 45 minutes or so, 45 to an hour. We'll see how long we go, but welcome back to the podcast. I know it's been a couple of days, actually been not about a week, but we didn't do shows on Thursday or Friday, but we are back here for a show to kind of get into the holiday week. We have Christmas coming up, Christmas Eve tomorrow, so there won't be a show tomorrow, won't be a show on Wednesday, Christmas Day, and there won't be a show on the 26th because I am going to be doing Christmas festivities all week long, but we will be back on the 27th, on Friday, so this will be a two show week this week, and then we'll kick it back up to go into the new year and kind of reflect on 2021. But welcome back to Passion for the Pastime. If you're joining us for the first time, my name is Walter Balsetta, and I work at KMBR in San Francisco and have been working there since 2019 and started doing this podcast a little bit before that. I want to say I started it in 2018. Trade deadline time is when I started Passion for the Pastime on the just audio form, right? But this is the first time. This is about what episode maybe 6 or 7. Started it a couple of weeks ago. So bring the podcast to YouTube. It's something that I've wanted to do for quite some time, and now we're making things happen. So again, welcome to Passion for the Pastime. Remember, if you're not a subscriber, remember to subscribe to Passion for the Pastime, and you can see my my Twitter handle at the bottom at Walleezy. That is WALLEEZZY on Twitter /X. If you want to follow me there for updates as well. So a lot to get into. We got a lot of not trade rumors, but a lot of trades to kind of break down everything that has gone down since we last spoke, and a lot of signings. So free agents are coming off the board left and right. We'll talk about how that affects the Giants moving into the rest of the offseason. There were reports about Corbin Burnes on whether he will be signing before or after Christmas, and clearly a couple of days from Christmas, it's unlikely that a deal is imminent, and the latest reports were that he will not be signing before Christmas Day. So Giants fans, I apologize. You won't have that Corbin Burnes gift under the tree this Christmas season. We might have cat content here in a little bit on the show. Got my new cat. If you guys don't know, I'm a cat father now. I say father in a laughing matter because there was another word that I was going to use that we looked up the definition, and I didn't want to use that one. So, but we might have cat content here on Passion for the Pastime. So stay tuned. We might have some of that. But welcome in, everybody. Mike Val, I see you in there. Lori, I see you in there as well. Ernie, what's up, man? Victor Stevenson, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to you as well. Cat Daddy, yes, Pat H, you got it. Yeah, that is. I like Cat Dad. Cat Dad. I like that, Victor. Thank you so much. But thank you, everybody, for stopping by to Passion for the Pastime. We'll get into all of the free agent stuff, but to open up the show, because we did a 4 hours of it on Papa and Silver earlier today, we had a lot of great conversations to remember the legacy, to remember the life of Ricky Henderson. And I am of a different generation, right? I find myself to be a student of the game, a historian of the game. I love the game of baseball. And there's so much of like the golden age of baseball that I wasn't able to experience. But I have spoken to people and especially Papa. I mean, today, if you guys were listening from 10 to 2, it was incredible stuff. Just the knowledge, the memories, and all the callers that were calling in and sharing their memories about Ricky Henderson, who sadly passed away on Friday at the age of 65 from pneumonia. So it's devastating, 65 years old. And when you start to look at all these Hall of Famers, because I mean, when you're of a certain age group of a fan, you know that once you get older, your heroes are going to start passing on. But it is especially tough in the Bay Area. But the baseball family got hit hard this year. We still have a couple of days until the end of 2024, and hopefully everyone is healthy and we get through this year unscathed. But just to take account for everyone that has passed on this year. I mean, early on this year, it was Willie Mays, and it was incredible to kind of speak to that generation of baseball fans. And I had the privilege of being out there at Oracle Park and doing a memorial service show type with John Dickinson and Greg Papa. John Lund was out that day that we went down to Oracle Park. We actually broadcasted from 58 Social, formerly known as Public House, and it was just incredible. I mean, the baseball community, the fans, just the love, the outpouring of love that was shown for Willie at that point when he passed on, and just everything that was leading up to that with Rick Wood being played with the Giants and the Cardinals. It was sad for that to happen for Willie Mays, not to see Major League Baseball go back to where it all started for number 24 for Willie Mays. Then you look forward into, the next couple of months. So you got Pete Rose, who, again, one of the greatest players to have ever stepped foot on the diamond. Say what you want about the betting scandal or anything like that. He was a damn good ball player. I never got to see him play, but the highlights and the stories, you start to hear everything about these players. And that's why baseball is just such a beautiful sport. It's so timeless, in that you can go back and relive history. And it's like you're there. You hear these stories, and it's like you witness the greatest of all time. And that's what I love about doing this podcast. That's what I love about going to games and just talking to fans of different generations and sharing those stories, right? So now you fast forward to today, and it was done beautifully with Papa and Silver on KNBR 10-2, where we talked to Shooty Babbitt, we talked to Bib Roberts, we talked to Tony La Russa. I mean, there were great conversations, baseball conversations, but human conversations about the man, the legend, and it's almost mythical. The things that you see Ricky Henderson that he did, you just think that he's a video game. You think it's hard to comprehend what he was able to do on a baseball diamond. But we had all those phone calls, we had all those interviews, and it always goes back to Ricky the man. And I do have a story about Ricky where I did meet him briefly at a Raider game. I'll tell you guys about that in a little bit. But it's just moments like this where you go back and you look at, obviously, the play on the field, but then you realize, the great human being that these guys were, and that's what Willie was, and that's what Ricky Henderson was, and what they meant to this community, especially to that city of Oakland, right? I mean, you go through not only losing Ricky Henderson, he was there for the final pitch, throw out the final first pitch at the Oakland Coliseum at Ricky Henderson Field, and he's not going to live to see the A's play anywhere else other than Oakland. And that's almost symbolic. And, it's sad that where that organization currently is, and thinking about like how the Giants went to Willie Mays, and you knew where to go to pay your respects, right? You have that statue at 3rd and King right there at 24 Willie Mays Plaza. And I was listening to, on my drive home today after the show, I was listening to a great interview with Brody Brazil, and he's the best. He is the best guy out there, and you guys know him as the A's guy, and he's just fantastic. Great baseball knowledge. But I was listening to his interview earlier today on my drive home with Dirty Work with Adam Copeland and Derek Papa, and it's just sad that like A's fans didn't know where to go. They didn't know what to do, because their organization is just in shambles, and there's no place to call home, right? So how could you pay respects to Ricky? And I love this thought that Derek brought up, and Brody as well, in that you got to open up the Coliseum one more time. You got to have this grand ceremony, open up Mount Davis, have it all filled, because then you'll see the true fandom that it is to be an Oakland Athletics fan. I'm not an Athletics fan. You can see what I'm wearing right now: Giants clothes, Giants baseball in my blood. But Giants is my team, right? But I always loved going to the Coliseum because you knew the passion, the heart that the A's fans had. And this blow with losing Ricky at such a young age, because I mean, when you look to Willie Mays, he was 90. I mean, you know that it was going to come at some point. You can prep for it, but with Ricky Henderson, it came as a little bit of a shock. I mean, I saw the circulating on I believe it was on Friday night, and then confirmation Saturday morning, and I was devastated, man. I mean, I never grew up watching Ricky. Like, my earliest memories of Ricky Henderson is my year of baseball consciousness would be 1998, is when he came back. What, for the fourth time to play in Oakland, and this dude stole 66 bags. He sold 66 bags. I remember talking to my uncle, and I was just like, dude, this guy, like, he's 39 years old. Stole 66 bags as a 39-year-old. And then you just kind of put that in the context of what we're seeing. And obviously it's a different game today, but you put that into context of what we're seeing in today's game, and it's completely different. But Ellie De La Cruz is a damn good base stealer, and he stole 67. Just one more. That is the video game aspect, the just unreal. You can't comprehend the numbers. You had to be there to see it, because he has just one more steal than Ricky Henderson did at age 39. That is incredible. So I would love to see what everyone in the YouTube chat has to offer. Your favorite Ricky Henderson memory. I would assume that a lot of you guys lived through that generation. Again, my earliest memories was 98 with the A's, and I remember him. I believe I don't remember him as a Padre. I vaguely remember him as an Angel. I don't know if that happened. I want to say it did. And obviously, you know, my Jays, got to shout out my Jays. He was on second base when Joe Carter hit that walk-off home run in 93. Shout out my Jays. John Curley knows what's going on with that one. But Ricky Henderson on the Blue Jays, member of the Blue Jays. Obviously, he played for the A's for many, many years. Played for the Yankees as well. Played for the Dodgers. I do remember that, 2003. Where I was just like, oh man, he's a Dodger now. Like, but you still loved Ricky. You still loved him. And it's because he was like one of our own, right? He was from the Bay Area. He was homegrown, and he just had so much swagger, man. Like, from all the stories, especially Shooty Babbitt. Shooty Babbitt had fantastic recollection and stories to share earlier today. We had him on, I believe it was at 10:30. You can go check that out on the KMBR podcast page. But yeah, man, I mean, Ricky Henderson, the numbers don't say it all. I mean, I could read off all these numbers. 2295 for the most runs scored. Records never getting touched. Stolen bases, 1406, never getting touched. Record for stolen bases in a single season in 82, 130, never getting touched. And I know they're just numbers, and you don't realize how good of a player he was and how athletic of a player he was if you didn't see it. Because, and I would say that I fall victim to this as well. I mean, there's only so much that you can kind of research on and watch on YouTube, on Twitter, and kind of get a feel for what it is. But I wasn't there. I wasn't living it. You know what I mean? So I myself, even looking at these numbers, I know that they're untouchable numbers, and that these records will never be broken, especially in the history or in this current state of baseball. I know Manfred is trying to bring back like the stolen base, right, with all the rule changes, and trying to not incentivize. That's a hard word, but give incentive. That's easier to say. To give incentive for guys to steal bases. Not really doing that, but making it easier to where less pickoffs and the bases are bigger and all that kind of stuff. So, but it'll never get back to that. It'll never get back to that. I know that everyone's looking at Ronald Acuna and and Ellie De La Cruz is like, oh, can he break? I remember I was talking to Trent C. Rosecrans of Cincinnati during the season last year when I was having a rounding third and king interview with him, and he votes for the Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff. We got into all that conversation, but I asked him, I was like, Ellie De La Cruz, like, is there a chance that he can like get anywhere near Ricky Henderson? And I said it like kind of tongue in cheek, but also like curious into, can guys ever get to that, a specific type of athlete? But the answer is no. There's never going to be another type of player, another type of human being, but another athlete that touches the diamond like Ricky Henderson did. And he passed away at the age of 65, and it's sad. Again, you can prep for Willie Mays. You kind of knew that it was going to happen. Orlando Cepeda also passed away, and he was a little bit younger, so that was a little bit more devastating, but he had been in bad health, so it wasn't too shocking. But then you look to Ricky Henderson, 65 years old. You saw him out there throwing the first pitch. He was out at the Coliseum not too long ago, and now he's not here. So I would love to have everybody's thoughts and give me your memories of Ricky Henderson, because again, I didn't live it. I've learned it. And one thing that I have learned is playing Copes on MLB The Show. It is impossible. Like that was my way of like living through Ricky Henderson and understanding how good of a player he was. I could not throw anything low, anything that would get a ground ball hit, because it would have to get fielded so perfectly in a video game, mind you. It would have to get fielded so perfectly for me to throw out Ricky Henderson, or you have to rush the throw and it goes into the dugout and then he's on second base and then Copes steals third base and then I throw it into the outfield and then he goes home and you get a run. That's what Ricky Henderson brought to the team. You get a run without even getting a hit. That is what Ricky Henderson was, and so fantastic. And yeah, playing the show, if you have the opportunity to get on that video game and play that and just kind of see the greatness of Ricky Henderson from that standpoint. I mean, maybe that's a way that you can kind of show the younger generation just how good of a player he was. And quite arguably, I mean, yeah, he says he's the greatest of all time. I got some videos here of Ricky Henderson breaking Lou Brock's stolen base record in when was that? No, 91. Reason I remember that is because Ricky, this is just to age me, I guess. Ricky Henderson broke Lou Brock's stolen base record 367 days before I was born. That is incredible. May 1st in 1991. So we got some videos. Then we got that funny Harold Reynolds story. If you guys haven't heard it on KMBR, if you haven't seen it on X, I'll get to that as well. But drop down your thoughts on Ricky Henderson. I want to know everyone's favorite story, interaction. If you ever had the privilege of meeting Ricky Henderson, as I did, actually, it happened on accident. I'll tell you guys the story, then I'll get to some of these clips that I have here. But so Ricky Henderson, he owned the Coliseum. I mean, you know what I mean? Like the field was named after him. All right. So I'm out, I'm working. I believe it's 2018, probably around. Yeah, it would be 2018, that season. And I forget who the Raiders were playing, but I was working security, at the time at a Raider game. And it was fun. It was a great atmosphere. I mean, it was great to be out there at the Coliseum, getting paid, essentially not to watch football, but I'm out at a football game, so you can't really complain. So I got assigned working the suites, and I had the job to kind of check everybody's passes and check everybody's tickets in getting into the suite level. And again, like, this dude just had an aura about him. Like I can spot him in the crowd, walking probably like 50 feet away. You know what I mean? Like he was down a ways, and I was like, that's fucking Ricky Henderson. like I kind of lost my mind a little bit. I was just like, that's fucking Ricky. He's walking towards me. Like he's kind of looking at me, but I mean, he's not really looking at me. He's just kind of looking in my direction. So I'm looking, I'm like, that's Ricky Henderson. Like, that's crazy. Like, he's about to come over here. I'm going to check his ticket. So the reason for this interaction was because a few years prior, I was at spring training, and just to kind of paint this story, I was at spring training, and I was at Don and Charlie's. If you guys have been to spring training, have been to Scottsdale, you know the legendary Don and Charlie's. That's where all the players would go and hang out, right? I mean, that was kind of where you wanted to be, I guess, if you were visiting for spring training. So we were out there. We were going for dinner at Don and Charlie's, and Willie Mays was sitting like 10 feet away from me at a table. He was signing pictures of the catch. I don't know if like the John Shea book had come out at that time. I don't remember exactly what he was there for. I don't remember if it was a book signing that was also attached to it, but definitely the catch photo, which you guys can kind of see right here. I did not get that at spring training. I wish that I can have that story to share with you guys. But right behind me, the catch autograph with Willie Mays. I didn't get it at that point, but you know, I was a young kid, and I was intimidated by Willie Mays. And after he passed away, and you hear all the stories, I was just like, man, how could I be so stupid? Like, why didn't I just go say hi to him? You know what I mean? So I didn't. I was just looking at him. I was in awe. I was intimidated, and I didn't do it. I was like, I'm not gonna bother him. And what threw me off and why I didn't do it was because other people weren't doing it either. I'm just like, it's not really the cool thing to do, right? So that happens. Lived with regret, and then when he passes away, I'm just like, man, I had the opportunity to meet the greatest player to ever play the game of baseball, and that always stuck with me. But you know, fast forward to now. That was in, I want to say 2009 or 2010. It was definitely before the Giants won the World Series, because they weren't champions at the time that I went to spring training. So it was either 2009 or 2010. And so now you fast forward to 2018, and I have that memory of, damn, I missed the opportunity to meet one of the greatest players in the game of baseball. Then I see Ricky Henderson, and I'm like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this again. I'm not going to try to avoid him. I'm not going to kind of, you know, just shy away from it. And also at this point, I'm a little bit more confident in myself, right? I mean, fast forward 8 years. 8 years can change a person for a good portion of time. So Ricky's walking over to me, and I'm like, oh shit, what do I do? Like, do I try to be cool? Like, do I just like talk to him? Do I just say what's up? Do I fuck with him? Like, what do I do? So me being a little bit of a jokester, I was just like, all right, this is how I know I'm gonna get Ricky. Is he's walking over, and I'm checking everybody's passes, He's Ricky freaking Henderson. He doesn't need a pass, and I see he doesn't have one. So then I stop him. I swear to God, I was so terrified. I was terrified. I'm getting sweaty just thinking about it. So I stop him. I was like, oh, excuse me, sir. Do you have a pass? And he kind of looked at me like, you son of a bitch. Like, you don't know who, you don't know that's my field? Like I feel like he wanted to do that. But he didn't. He was so nice about it. I was just like, oh, excuse me, sir. You don't have a pass. And he kind of looked at me kind of like side-eyed, and I wanted to keep it going, but then I got a little nervous. I got shy. I was just like, Mr. Ricky Henderson. I did say that. I said, Mr. Ricky Henderson. I said, I know who you are. I'm just messing with you, man. Go on in. And he cracked the biggest smile, kind of gave me like a little pat on the shoulder, and he said, you made Ricky laugh. You made Ricky laugh. And I was like, dude, that was fucking awesome. Like, it was a very small interaction, but just, you know, he allowed me to mess with him, and he enjoyed it. I mean, to a point, right? I mean, he tapped me on the shoulder, and he acknowledged like what I did, and he thought it was funny, his smile and all that kind of stuff. And then he told me to have a good rest of my day, right? So that's my Ricky Henderson story. I would love to hear from you guys if you guys have any, just even watching him play. If you guys grew up in the Bay Area, watching Ricky Henderson, and just your thoughts on his passing as well. So let's go ahead and go to the YouTube chat. We got Pat H in here. The rejects. Yes, Pat H. I did do research on the name And I did hear the song and saw the dance. I don't know. Can you do the dance, Pat H? That's the question there. I'll leave that there. EB here. What's up, dude? Hey, dude, ever since you changed your name, it's so much easier than before. So I really appreciate that. I told you that in the YouTube chat during one of the shows, but I need to tell you now. I really appreciate that 100%. Grew up watching Cat in the Hat to eating. Okay. All right. Okay, EB. Come on, man. It's a family show. It's a family show. What we got going on here? Yes, Pat H. I should have read your comment before I read EB's on the show here. Yes, it was too graphic. What happened to the La Russa call? Okay, peel back the. Derek's gonna get pissed at me, but I don't give a damn. So we have a football that we toss around. You guys can see it on the YouTube chat, and you can see it on the cameras and everything like that. But we have a football that we toss around. I wasn't looking at one of the tosses, and if you guys have seen Derek toss a football, it is hysterical. Please watch the commercial breaks while we have the bullpen cam up. I'll try to get Derek to do it tomorrow. His throws a little bit questionable. Anyways, so he throws the ball in my direction. I'm not looking. I'm doing my job, right? And he throws it, hits the board. Nothing happens at that point. We're good. We think that crisis is averted. I'm like, all right, damn, Derek, like you almost torpedoed this thing. But what he did do when he threw it was he knocked these buttons off of the board that control the call screener. And I guess in part they tried to flip it on me like it was my fault, but it definitely was not my fault. But in part, the buttons, he tried to put them back in. And what he ended up doing, because you can lock in a phone call, just taking you guys behind the scenes and you can go onto the board. You can lock in a phone call unless you're Derek. Derek doesn't know how to lock in a phone call. But if you know how to lock in a phone call, you hit the button twice and they're locked in. They can't go anywhere. I did not lock in Tony La Russa because we're responsible human beings. I know I wasn't going to do anything. And Derek has the little buttons and he puts it back on and tries to like insert it, ends up hitting it. And then you guys heard the dial tone, right? You heard it go, you heard the dial tone. Essentially, Derek hung up on Tony La Russa. I'm just throwing that out there. So the next time you guys can talk to Derek and get his side of the story, that is verbatim exactly how it happened. I had no responsibility. Derek did call him back and got him on to finish the interview. But yeah, that's how the Ricky Henderson memorial for 10-2. That's how it ended with Derek hanging up on Tony La Russa. So please feel free. I am filling in for Copes tomorrow from 2 to 4:30. It's going to be me and Derek. Please, everyone, celebrate your Christmas Eve and rip Derek. Please. I will bring it up on the show. I will talk to him about it live on KMBR 2 to 4:30 prior to the Hawaii Bowl between San Jose State and USF. Not the Dons, the Bulls, South Florida, before we get to that. So please, everyone, stop by and rip Derek a new one. I just, that is what happened to the La Russa call. And Ernie, I thank you for asking that question. Those are the questions that need to be asked. But yes, that is exactly what happened. Let's go back to the YouTube chat. Oh man, let's see what's up here. Beer. You guys all having beers? What's your beer of choice? What's your beer of choice on this eve of Christmas Eve? Let me know in the YouTube chat. If I gave everybody, I got to screen EB's comments now before I throw it up there. I know everybody can see it, but before I put it on the screen for the families and the children to watch and to read. God, my niece is learning how to read. EB, you can't have her read that. Come on, man. If I gave everybody a beer from my 12-pack, I would still have 4 beers left. All right, thank you, EB. I appreciate that. Ice cold beer, Mike Val, EB. Let's see what's up. Damn. Okay. Oh, what's up, Tacky? I knew you were in here lurking. Damn, you love these Canadians too damn much, Walter. Well, hey, what can I say? I love Canada. Those are my guys. A Ricky leadoff homer to start. The game was always nice. He did that often. Yeah. I believe he did that more than anybody else. EB 81, I think, is the number for leadoff homers. Ricky Henderson, and I think currently the next guy, I want to say it's George Springer. With all those years that he was leading off, I want to say it's George Springer, but it's not. It's not close. I mean, I think he's somewhat close. He's like maybe like 20, 24. Like he was like in the 50s or 60s. The last time I checked, maybe right at 60. I'm not exactly sure on that, but I do believe it's George Springer. Currently active for the most home runs, leadoff home runs. Mike Val, the most magical moment in baseball history, right there. All right, hell yeah. Ricky was super quick. Fancy flips he would do on the field. Great player. Gift to Oakland. Yeah, Lori. Love that. He was great. He was great. Let's see here. That Diamond Dynasty card, Ricky. Oh, dude. Honestly, Tacky knows what I'm talking about. MLB The Show, if you guys play it, Ricky Henderson is just, it's a cheat code, man. Copes would torch me with Ricky Henderson night in and night out. It was a good portion of why I lost close games is because of Ricky Henderson and the whole thing. Like, I couldn't throw him anything low, like anything middle or low in the zone because he would just put it into play. I couldn't do it. So I had to elevate the fastball, but then Copes knew like I was trying to elevate, and then he'd tank one out of the field. He hit a homer. That wasn't good either. I lost a lot of my games to Ricky Henderson, 100%. Lou Brock is the other cheat code with the drag bunts. Yes, he is. And if you have them both on the same team, Tacky, that's problematic, 100%. Yeah, being born on Christmas Day. Yeah, I mean, and that's a sad thing too, man. I mean, it's Christmas week, but also passing away like right before you turn 66, like right before your 66th birthday, 5 days before he passes away. It was just sad. Tacky has a Ricky Henderson story. Ran into him at Disneyland after they had Ricky Henderson Day at the Coliseum. My dad said, "Hey, Ricky, we were at your ceremony." He said, "Okay, Ricky's going to go read Ricky's newspaper." See, that's the thing too. Like all of the stories that you hear about Ricky, like some of them are real, some of them are fake, but just the fact of having that material, having it for Ricky's sake is just, it's incredible, man. Like that interaction, that's Ricky. That's how he spoke. That's how he spoke. That's just incredible, man. It is incredible. I saw this on Twitter a couple of days ago when Ricky passed, and then I heard it again reaffirmed what I read with Brody Brazil on Dirty Work earlier today when I was driving home. And then it was a sign. I guess it was a sign. Someone was holding it up, and it said John 3:16. And then a reporter asked, obviously a biblical reference, and a reporter asked Ricky. Reporter asked Ricky post game. He's like, "Oh, John 3:16," and then Ricky said, "Ricky don't give a damn about no John 3:16. Ricky hitting 330." like that's Ricky Henderson. Like that is him in a nutshell, man. I just love hearing those stories. It's just incredible stuff, man. I mean, the Bay Area, Oakland baseball, they lost a special human being. They definitely lost a special human being. Let's see what else Tacky has to say. He'd have his head stand in line, then head cut to the front where they were. Oh yeah. Oh, what? Wait, at Disneyland? Is that what you're saying? Ricky Henderson stealing places in line? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I believe it. That's Ricky. He's like, Ricky been here all day. Oh, man. Let's see, Pat H. I have been driving by the Coliseum every day at work. His picture and the Ricky Henderson field logo is still on there. Yeah, I mean, Ricky was Oakland. Ricky was Oakland. He was the vibe. He was the Oakland Athletics. So yeah, if there was ever a reason to go back into that Coliseum, it's got to be to pay your respects to Ricky Henderson for sure. Tacky has another story here. My cousin worked at the Coliseum during Raider games. Her job was checking tickets, getting into the club section. Didn't have a ticket, so she denied him. He kept saying, "Call Mr. Davis." So it sounds like a similar story to what I did, but he didn't react in that manner. Call Mr. Davis, dude. That's hilarious. That is crazy. Did your cousin get fired for that? That's the real question, Tacky. Tacky, I don't know if you caught my story earlier, or if that's a reference to my story, but yeah, Ernie Chavez, that's awesome. I believe you're referring back to my story, dude. It was awesome. It was a great experience, 100%. $10. Walter pauses. What are you talking about, Mike? What are you doing? What's going on here? Great story. I'm glad you were able to meet Ricky. Yeah, dude. Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, it was a small interaction. It was very minimal. But you know, it was cool because like just someone of that stature and the fact that he can like let his guard down and kind of have fun with you, like that just tells me all you need to know about a person. Tacky, Derek plays powder puff football is what you're telling us. Yeah, I didn't say that. If you want to come to that conclusion, you can, Tacky. Let's see here. Cat jumped on my keyboard and screwed up my screens. Lock it in. No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened. I assume LaRussa had a no. This was all Derek. Blame Derek, please. That was all Derek's problem. Comment. Well, our comments. Yeah, dude, I got you. Tacky. Yeah, dude, hit me up tomorrow if you guys aren't busy. Ooh, Modelo. Hey, Ernie's speaking my language now. I have with me. I'm not going to crack it open now. I'll maybe crack this open on the New Year's Eve podcast. Cool Kids IPA, courtesy of Marcus the Waterboy Boucher before he went on his vacation. I'll probably crack that one open. I have a couple of other beers that Tim has given me. Actually, think I still have I have a beer that Tom gave me, which don't know if it's expired yet. It was quite a long time. Tacky's drinking Space Dust. Hell yeah, dude, 100%. George Springer was 60. We looked it up yesterday. Oh, look at that. All right, cool. I was close. I was like, I said 50 or 60. So hell yeah. Shout out to me. Let's see here. All right, boys. Oh, Tacky left. All right, Tacky. Nations. Thank you for letting us know what dinner is tonight. I was going to ask you tomorrow during the show, but thank you for letting me know. I'll ask you what dinner is tomorrow for Christmas Eve, Tacky. I appreciate you. I think Tacky already left, but yeah, thank you guys all for sharing those moments. Pat H chimes in here, the last comment, and then we'll get back to some Ricky and talk about free agency. Bill King, Lon Simmons. I also had the privilege of meeting Lon Simmons at that same, I believe it was the same spring training year where he was walking around. He was on the field with John Miller, and then he's just walking around like the stands. And I'm like, dude, I told my girlfriend, I was like, I got to go meet Lon Simmons. Like, I know, I walked up to him. I was just like, Lon, big fan. I don't know what the hell I said. I probably sounded like an idiot. And he kind of looked at me and kind of like gave me a pat on the shoulder. He's like, son, do you even know who I am? Like, just kind of messing with me. I was just like, of course I know who you are. Like, what do you mean? And then that was that. It was great. Awesome. Lon Simmons, legendary. Yeah, man. So sad. It's moments like these, like you just kind of remember back to all those moments. Like I didn't even think about Lon Simmons until Pat H brought that up. But yeah, man, I met him. I think I met him like 5 years, maybe 6 years prior to him passing. I have some photos. I'll show you guys at some point. But But yeah, thank you guys for stopping by the podcast. A lot of fun. Again, if you want to catch me and Derek tomorrow, 2 to 4:30, prior to the Hawaii Bowl on KMBR and on the KMBR YouTube. And to answer Tacky's question, yes, the comments will be read on air. We'll definitely get into that 100%. But let's go through some of these videos that I have of you guys, not videos of you guys, for you guys, of Ricky Henderson. This first one is him breaking Lou Brock's record and stealing base number 939, Ricky Henderson. And here it is.
From behind a 1-0 deficit. Ricky goes, the pitch taken, he's going to have it. He does. Ricky Henderson, no contest, steals third base, jerks the bag from its moorings, and holds it aloft, representing number 939. Ricky pounds it with his left fist, hands it to equipment manager Frank Sinchek, who gives him a big hug. There's Ricky's mom.
Again, talking about the game being forgotten.
And Lou Brock probably the happiest guy on the field right now. He can finally make his speech, pass over the record to Ricky, and go about his business.
Well, he's already out there. They've got a presentation.
Yeah, and that's what Pat H was talking about with all those legends: Bill King, Lon Simmons, Ray Fosse, all those guys, and now Ricky Henderson joins them. It's just sad. Derek is asking who's going to be watching Just Your Opinion Man next. That starts at 7:15. Derek, I'll give you a promo. 7:15 with Langford and Papa. You guys make sure to head over there to get in on the shenanigans there. And then this is a funny story that we were playing on KMBR, so I'll play for you guys also. Harold Reynolds, when he finally, due to injury of Ricky Henderson, where he finally won the stolen bases title, and this was his interaction with the late great Ricky Henderson.
Stolen base title. It's the first and only time anybody in the 80s outside of Ricky won a stolen base title. Ricky's still in 120, 110 a year. Ricky got hurt like in May, and I think he had like 30. So it comes down to the last day of the year. Willie Wilson has 59. I have 59. I steal a base. Willie Wilson goes 0 for 5. I win the title. Monday morning, phone rings. I go over and pick up the phone. Henderson here. Because Ricky never speaks. He speaks in third person regardless. Henderson here. I said, hey, what's up, Rick? What's going on, man? He says, 60 stolen bases? You ought to be ashamed. Ricky has 60 at the All-Star break. Click. Hung up.
Yeah, dude, that's Ricky Henderson. Like that's a classic Ricky Henderson story, 100%. And we'll continue to hear these stories just throughout the weeks and throughout the years. I mean, there'll be more Ricky Henderson stories, and especially when they finally do the celebration of life for Ricky, like they should at the Coliseum. With you on that, Derek. We'll hear a lot more of these stories, and just can't wait to kind of get the full sense of Ricky Henderson and what he meant to so many people, and especially the city of Oakland. And yes, the check is in the mail. Thank you, Derek. Holiday check in the mail. I appreciate you, bro. And then let's do one more thing. This one's a little bit more lengthier. And this is Ricky Henderson's Hall of Fame induction speech. And this is him getting into the 2009 class. Remember that, Ricky Henderson getting into the Hall of Fame. And this was about 4 minutes. So you guys sit back, enjoy, and kick up your feet and listen to the great Ricky Henderson.
I love the game of baseball. That's why it was so hard for me to walk away from the game. I thought if Satchel Paige can start playing Major League Baseball at the age of 45, then with my dedication, hard work, and desire, I can play the game until my body said it was time to hang it up. As a kid, growing up in Oakland, my heroes were Jackie Robinson, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Reggie Jackson. What about that Reggie Jackson? I stand out on the ballpark in the parking lot waiting for Reggie Jackson to give me an autograph. Reggie used to come out all the time, and I say, Reggie, can I have an autograph? He would pass me a pen with his name on it. He never gave me an autograph. In June of 1979, I received a call from Charlie O. Finley. He wanted me to play in the big league for the Oakland A's. That's what the most thrilling time of my life. Playing the game that I love in my hometown in front of my family and friend was a dream come true. Charlie, wherever you at, and that donkey, I want to say thank you for the opportunity. I played with some of the greatest players in the game. Jim Rice, Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, Tony Gwynn. I called him Dennis the Eck. Cal Ripken Jr., Dave Henderson, and my best friend and loyal friend, Dave Stewart, and so many other players that I will never forget. In my career, I had the good fortune to play for 9 teams. It was wonderful because it allowed me to meet fans all over the country. It's the fans that makes the game fun. To all the fans, thank you, thank you, thank you for your wonderful support over all these years. My favorite hero was Muhammad Ali. He said at one time, quote, I am the greatest, end of quote. That is something I always wanted to be. And now that the association had voted me into the Baseball Hall of Fame, my journey as a player is complete. I am now in the class of the greatest players of all time. And at this moment, I am very, very humble. Thank you.
Standing ovation for the great Rickey Henderson. He will be missed. He crushed that speech, by the way. I mean, that was incredible. So, the baseball world, the Bay Area, the city of Oakland took a hit with the passing of Rickey Henderson, but it's you just kind of go back, especially all of you that have watched him play, and what he meant to so many. And he mentioned it there, is that he went around the country, played for 9 different teams, met so many different people. So he touched the hearts of many around the game of baseball. So rest in peace to the great Rickey Henderson. How do you transition off of that? I mean, God, man, I just kind of want to end the show on that. But there is a couple of things that I will address, but I'll get to more Friday. I'll get to more Friday because there was a lot of action that happened over the past weekend with signings, with trades, all that kind of stuff. What that means for the Giants. We'll get into that on Friday because I don't believe that there's going to be anything else that goes on the rest of this week. We will see. If something does break, remember to set your notifications on the podcast so that if something does break, I will be here. I will be in this chair or I'll be driving around. I'll be on my phone, wherever I may be if there is a breaking news with the Giants, with Corbin Burns, because a lot of guys are off the board. Sean Manaea off the board. Jesus Luzardo off the board. Who else got signed pitching wise? I think that was it. Was that it? Sean Manaea. Let's see here. Oh, Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler signed with the Red Sox as well. And Jesus Luzardo ends up with the Phillies. Sean Manaea back to the Mets. So now you kind of see the landscape of how the pitching market is going to shape out. And it's going to be really interesting to see what can happen with Corbin Burns, being that, the Mets, who, again, it looks like they're done with acquiring starting pitching, unless his name is Roki Sasaki. Also, the Giants, is that kind of the hang-up right now? Is the hang-up the pending decision on what Roki Sasaki decides to do? If Sasaki signs with the Giants, then Corbin Burns will likely go elsewhere, is my guess. We'll get into that on Friday. But if Roki Sasaki doesn't sign with the Giants, I think that the Giants will do everything in their power to try to lock in Corbin Burns at whatever cost. And I do think that maybe that climbs up to maybe a little bit closer to $300 million for 8 years. But we'll have to see how that all translates out. But, I think this all does go back to Roki Sasaki and his decision. And as we all know, Roki Sasaki is not going to, or he doesn't have to pick a team. His 45-day window ends on January 23rd at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So maybe the Corbin Burns thing, especially on the Giants side of things, if the Giants feel like Roki Sasaki is going to go elsewhere prior to the 23rd, then maybe they go all in and throw their money at Corbin Burns, and maybe they do lock him in. But that's the pitching market side of things. And first base, I mean, that whole market kind of dried out a little bit. It looks like maybe at first base it is going to be Lamont Wade Jr. We'll have to see how all that goes with the Giants. But, Paul Goldschmidt ends up with the Yankees. Christian Walker ends up with the Astros. Josh Naylor gets traded to the Diamondbacks to make up for Christian Walker going to the Stros. And then Nathaniel Lowe, right? Is it Lowe or Lau? I always forget. There's Brandon Lau, I forget. But anyways, the first baseman from the Rangers, he gets traded to the Nationals. So would you want to get a Josh Bell? Is that where things are kind of trending? Do you want to go and get an Anthony Rizzo for like a 1 year? Pete Alonso's still out there. His market might be actually coming to a crashing halt, which might benefit the Mets, because all of these first basemen are they're getting locked up. Carlos Santana ends up back with the Guardians. So it's going to be really interesting to see how first base kind of shapes out the rest of this offseason. But it kind of looks like, unless there's a trade that I can't really think of, and I'll go dive into first base options and trade options, especially if the Giants go and get Corbin Burns, to where some of that starting pitching that they do have, the surplus, can be assets to be moved. I'll go ahead and look at that and talk about that on Friday as well. But I'm going to get out of here. It is the eve of Christmas Eve. And again, if you guys want to join in on the conversation tomorrow, it is me and Derek Papa on Dirty Work from 2 to 4:30 tomorrow on KMBR 680 104.5, and of course on the YouTube page as well. So I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to get out of here. We just celebrated the life of Ricky Henderson. Eric Engel chiming in. Eric, when are you going to jump on the pod, bro? You've been ghosting me. God, I'm not even going to acknowledge you in the chat. Josh Bell. Do you want Josh Bell? I don't know. Is that better than Lamont Wade Jr. and Wilmer Flores, like kind of combo at first base? I don't know. Maybe like marginally. We'll have to see. But yeah, man, you guys have a good one. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all of you. Again, this will be the last show for this week until I get back on Friday, and we'll do a show. Maybe I'll do a little bit earlier also, because I am on vacation, baby. After tomorrow, I'm on vacation until the 6th. So maybe the schedule will be switching up a little bit. Make sure to have those notifications set. Click that little bell so that you know every time that we go live, especially if there's going to be breaking news. I don't think that anything is going to happen with Corbin Burns prior to the start of 2025. I could be wrong. I think it all goes with Roki Sasaki, but we'll have to see. We'll have to find out as the days go on. So again, happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you all. Thank you all for stopping by Passion for the Pastime. It was a fun night tonight. You guys, talk to you in a couple of days. Talk to you on Friday. Again, might be earlier, but maybe I'll do 6 o'clock. I don't know. Set your notifications and find out. Spread the word. Send out this podcast to all your friends. Bring the party to Passion for the Pastime, because it's always a good time with you guys. So Mike, Val, Eric Engel, Lori, Pat H, Ernie, Derek, starting Just Your Opinion Man in about 15 minutes. You guys all have a good one. EB here. I think he left, but Tacky, I know you're not in here anymore, but appreciate you stopping by as well. Where's my guy Rockin' New Era? Where was he at? I didn't see him in the chat today. I got to send him a message. Hopefully everything is all good. So you guys have a good one. I'm going to get out of here. I always take the longest time to say bye, but we'll talk to you on Friday. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to you, and talk to you next time.